No, thank you very much. My name is Mothema. I'm the CEO of an organization called BARSA. In full, it means Board of Airline Representatives South Africa. So I look after all the international airlines in South Africa. So we negotiate, their economic interests with all the relevant stakeholders, be it government, be the likes of your airport authorities or the air navigation services, the weather services, Transnet in terms of the Transnet pipeline, the jet fuel space. We all get involved in those areas because these are monopoly entities regulated, and therefore they charge our members to pay for the services that they provide, so we get involved in those negotiations. Quite an interesting panel, to say the least. I mean, one of the key things that a colleague of mine said, Aaron Monetsi, is the fact that, unfortunately for over the years as an industry, we've been operating in silos and not really harmonizing ourselves in terms of the different services that we provide, and also partnering with government in terms of ensuring that we're able, within the SADC region, to set an example of how best we can create the intra-Africa connectivity, for our airlines, in order to stimulate tourism, in order to facilitate the easier way of travel for our passengers. In Africa, the challenge we have is that you find that you have to travel to different destinations before you get into a particular destination because of lack of airlines operating into that market. So one of the key highlights for me is really the discussion around the air access market. We're interested in what Africa, the African Union is doing in terms of creating, what we call the free freedom rights, meaning that the ability of airlines, to fly to one destination from a point of origin to another destination and be able to connect to a third, destination. So that's a key highlight for me to find ourselves negotiating and talking about those key issues and harmonizing, the different services we provide. Well, the steps are very simple. We continue to engage with our different governments because the regulators ultimately are the ones who determines who goes into which country at what point. And obviously for us is we hope that the regulators are there listening and will be able to come to the party in terms of engaging with us as a private sector. But we're not going to sit and just leave it to the regulator. The reason why we use this kind of platforms is to influence the regulatory environment within the SADC region so that our governments are able to understand what matters for the industry to be a success. Tourism is one of the biggest GDP contributor for any country. And for us, we believe that as long as we continue to engage government, as long as we continue to have the regulators creating the ease of doing business as they hear what our members are raising, the better for us. One is looking forward to a greater future in view of the fact that